In a questionnaire that I recently put on Instagram, we had a lot of questions, and most of them were around a common theme, which was love. Some people were asking, what is love? Some people were asking how to love ourselves, and some were asking how to love others. So I thought I should speak on this topic because this is something which seems like a common theme. How we think of love, or how we are taught to think about it, how our conditioning of love is often in terms of transaction, as if I'm going to give you my love, and in return, I'm automatically worthy of your love, or I expect your love in return because I've given mine to you. So, our definitions largely across culture of love has been of a transaction, a commodity that you can transact. We've made love an object, something that you can do business out of. So we all are businessmen and women. We have never been vessels of love. Our definitions of love have always been transactional. And that is why there is something that we are just never able to understand about love. Something or the other always misses. We miss it. We miss the point. And then it's often in sad situations in life where we realize that actually it is not love that we think is happening to us or is happening to somebody else. It is actually a game of your mind, just another one. So, what is love? I can only speak from experience, so that's what I'm going to do today. In my experience, love is not something that can be transacted, but you can be. You see, it is extremely tough to grasp this concept of be, because we all are taught to become. We are never taught to be. And actually, we are better at being, not becoming. So, imagine if a child is told right from kindergarten, right from his or her birth, that the color that is yellow is not yellow, it is actually pink. And you're supposed to call it pink. And whenever the color pink is said, you're supposed to pick the color which is actually yellow. That's what happens with most things in life which we are not able to understand. Because love is not to be understood, it is to be. Love is to be. You have to be love. And then how do you do it? Nobody's going to teach you that, not even me. You see, some things in life are intuitive. Love is intuitive to a human being. It is a natural phenomena. Then there is no question of transaction there, because once I become love, then whether I am loving my parents or my boyfriend or my other boyfriend or my husband or anybody, it doesn't matter. It is always going to be love. Because now there is no question. I don't have measurement vessels with me anymore where I'll measure and see if I'm supposed to give somebody some love and I'm not supposed to give somebody some kind of love, and some love I'm supposed to have with myself. You see, with all this false connotations around love, we have learned to become a commodity to love. Human beings have become a commodity to love itself because they've made love a commodity. I know what I'm saying is a little tough to grasp, but I want you to listen to everything that I say with extreme silence inside you. Otherwise, you won't be able to understand what I'm trying to convey. Because if there is a chatter going on inside you, trying to make sense of what I'm saying, you'll miss the whole point. Our definitions of love is something that is keeping us from the experience of love. The very nature of love is liberating. The very nature of love is sharing, giving. Love is giving. Love never takes. It gives. That's how it is. And no matter how much trouble you'll face in accepting this, it would be stupid, in my opinion, because let's say if I want sun to come at night and not in the morning, then I'm going to be frustrated for the rest of my life. Sun is anyways going to come up in the morning because that's sun's freedom. Now, some people, after listening to this, would be, I'm ready to give love, but I never get it in return. You see, then you're not loving in the first place. Because if you are loving, then the very essence of love will fill you with so much fulfillment and satisfaction that in giving your fulfillment and your satisfaction will happen. You will find people to give your love to. And if it comes or if it doesn't come, it won't matter to you. If it comes, you'll be full of gratitude. And if it doesn't come, that still would not stop you from giving love. That is the state in which a human being is a loving being, which is its true nature. But things are extremely complicated and extremely rigid, seems extremely rigid for our understanding, or seems extremely freeing for our understanding, because maybe our understanding is a little rigid about life. So love is not a commodity. Love is not something that you can transact. Love is not something that you can even become. Love is something that you can be. If you try to become loving, in the very first step, you've erred. You're never going to touch the dimension of love. We all have caged our love. We all have put it in cages and labeled it that this is the love for my husband, this is the love for my child, this is the love for my sister, this is the love for my parents, and then we sit and we wonder where our love went. You have caged it yourself. If we stop thinking about love as a commodity and start thinking of it as something which is endless, and actually if we really stop thinking about love, only then love can happen. You have to stop thinking. It's funny because as soon as the topic of love comes, or even the feeling of love comes inside you, sometimes it happens and here and there in sparks, you immediately start thinking, you immediately start the cassette in your brain, which is like, is it really happening to me? What is happening to me? Is this true? I'm going crazy, etc., etc. And we start to believe all that. But what we don't understand is that love is not a phenomenon of the mind. Mind will never be able to understand love, because the very nature of mind is understanding something, and the very nature of love is non-understanding. Logics don't apply here. Understanding does not apply here. All these things are of absolutely no use when it comes to love. So of course, mind will never be able to understand it. Mind will create stories about it. But you have, as an individual, are supposed to realize when love is happening and let it happen. When understanding is happening, let it happen. You have to let it happen. Some people don't even let it happen. Because they live in the past, their experiences haunt them, etc., etc. Love is fresh every moment. That's another thing which can shock us. Because we generally love from our experiences. Rightfully so. Why not? If you and your experience of love has been frightening in the past, chances are that you would. Sorry, my camera was dead. So I was saying, chances are that you will be very extremely careful while loving. But that is when you're going to miss the point. life is spontaneous. Life is a risk every moment because life is fresh every moment. It's a new experience every moment. So you have to gamble every moment if you want to experience life. And love is part of life. It is not part of playing life on defense, playing safe in life. That is your mind and a calculated way of living, which is a very, in Hindi we say napunsak. It's a very napunsak way of living. I don't know any word of English which can completely describe napunsak. See, language in itself is a very limiting means of communicating something which is this existential. So I am facing trouble to share what I have to, but I hope I'm doing a decent job. If you are calculating with love, you will never love. You will never know what it is. Love's first and foremost, if you want to go to the temple of love, the very first step is to stop all calculations. And then it might come to you. And I'm saying might because I said life is spontaneous. You never know what is coming to you. But you don't even have to know. The only thing that you need to know is that it has to be you. It should not be somebody else which you're trying to become. Or it should not be an ideology you're trying to follow. Or it should not be a philosophy that you're trying to make sense of and lead your life towards it. Or it should not be somebody else's expectation of you that you're trying to become and fulfill. In all these cases, you'll miss the point that I'm trying to convey. Love is a flower which very rarely in human society has happened, and very few human beings in human society have even come close to what love is. But that does not mean that you cannot love. As I said, life is spontaneous. By nature of being a human being, you are a loving being. It's a default. And we are very, very, very far from default. I'm talking about the masses. That is why we are so lost. That is why we have existential questions such as, what is love? How can I love? Why am I not able to love? You have the ability. You just have to move your eye. And I'm not talking about these eyes. I'm talking about the inner eye. You have to let it see your love. And when you see your love, you'll be able to give it to somebody else. How can you give something to somebody which you don't know you have? So first you have to know that you have it. And the only way is to, it's a very simple practice that I can give you because I want to conclude the video now. Do what you love. Period. Do not do something where you feel that you're compromising yourself even 1%. I do not care in which circumstance you are. Mind my words, mind my language. I am a rebel. I have always been. And I know what I'm talking about when I'm saying no matter what happens, do what you want, do what you love. And how would you know what you want? And how would you know what you love? Let's say there is a choice between what should you eat? Should you eat a banana or should you eat a broccoli? Your mother wants you to eat a banana and you want to eat a broccoli. Choose the broccoli. I know you're going to offend your mother, but then you can choose between pleasing other people or you can choose between knowing what love is. When you start to know that feeling inside you, which is going to come up slowly, 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 because it'll take time. It has been dormant for who knows how many years, God knows. When it's going to come up, it's going to take time. It's going to come on its own accord. That's how everything in this universe is. Even you have your own accord, but you just don't know because you operate on this dopamine level of I don't know what. I don't even have any commentary on people these days. But anyways, you get my point. You get what I'm trying to say. Do what you love, and the more you do what you love, the more the feeling of love is going to arise in you. You are going to become more love, and once you know what love is inside you, it'll naturally flow both the ways. It won't even happen that you're loving yourself less and you're loving somebody else more. It doesn't happen with love. Love is not a commodity. This is the theme of the video. Love is not a commodity. A commodity after giving becomes less, but something which has no, we don't have any measure to measure it. It has no parameters. How are you going to measure it? It's going to flow. Love is something which flows both the ways. If you love yourself, then you're going to love somebody else. Otherwise, it's not possible. So I hope I'm able to make sense. And I know I do not make sense as well to a lot of people, but you'll get there. I have faith in humanity still. That's what I've chosen, to have faith in humanity. I hope I made sense. Thank you so much for listening to my words with such silence and peace. And God bless everyone. Thank you.